What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. What the What the fuck is going on? Trying to come on here, man, like it's fucking replaying the intro. Welcome. Oops, sorry. I promised that I wouldn't curse anymore. Let's see how long I can go. That'll be a good test. Let's see how long I can do this show. 2-hour show without cursing. Let's see if that can actually happen. Welcome to the breakdown episode 718. I see everybody's doing a podcast. They're very serious. It's like, man, we have to look at all these assets and the way that they're moving and the macro, and they have this voice going. They got this calm and smoothing voice. Hey, welcome to Ouch. I don't know. I can't do that. I'd put myself to sleep. I'd literally fall asleep here on my desk. Anyway, shout out to Midnight, title sponsor Midnight. I'll be going into Midnight City today. Shout out to all the people that are clipping up Angry Crypto Show. Shout out to him, clipped up a ton of conversations from yesterday's conversation with Charles. So shout out to him. Shout out to my editor. But you know what? We have to talk. Me and my editor have to talk because he put out a clip today that was in favor of Landy. Okay? The fuck are we doing here? What are we doing? What did he slip you a fucking? What did he slip you 15 cents? Like he sold me out for 15 cents? Few stats? Come on, man. Shout out to Polymarket. Polymarket is also the official prediction market sponsor of the breakdown. Speaking of Polymarket, I wanted to bring this up because obviously news is. What the hell is this? Is accident? Yeah, I know who you are. What the hell is going on, man? I feel like I say that every single day. Anyway, move. How do I exit out of this shit? No, I hate those pop-ups. This is intriguing here. This is intriguing. 11% chance Trump agrees to unfreeze Iranian assets by the end of the month. Rob is going to see this and he's going to say, I told you so. This is what me and him talked about on Wednesday. I said, look, I don't see Trump doing this at all. But if he does, I'll be extremely disappointed. And I'm sure Landy will come on and he's going to spin it like this is a good thing. If this happens, this is great. No, this is not good. It'd be no different than what Obama and Biden and the rest of the left did. No. The Polymarket has it at 11% chance Trump agrees to unfreeze Iranian assets by the end of the month. Wow. I'm just saying. That's crazy. That is crazy. Anyway. Hey, I'm gonna bring that up. I'm gonna bring that up today in today's debate. I'm gonna bring that up. You know, Rob's gonna be really happy. Rob is going to be absolutely happy with what I just showed you from Polymarket. He's going to be absolutely happy. Polymarket.com. Okay. You can go on to polymarket.com just like I do every single day. And I just research certain topics, especially in the political world. Shout out to Cake Wallet. If you are, you know what I thought about doing with Cake Wallet? I have to run this by them. I really do have to run it by them. But I was thinking, like, if you get yourself a Cake Wallet, if you have Cake Wallet, I should do like next week. I will give away like, I don't know, maybe $10, $25 in Bitcoin. Okay. Maybe it'll be $10 or $20 in Monero. I don't know. Might be even Litecoin. If you have Cake Wallet, only if you can show proof of Cake Wallet. If you show proof of Cake Wallet, it gets done. So maybe we'll do that. I'll run it by the team there. This is my money. It's my money. Quad Network. Shout out to them. They're having a space during this show. So if you get bored of this show, you can go to that show. It's on X Spaces. And hopefully on the 30th, which is tomorrow, that's when I don't stream on the weekends, but my account will be back on TikTok. That's right. I will refrain from using any bad words, okay? But I have asked TikTok, and I'm not even kidding, I've asked TikTok for a manual on things that I can and cannot say. I swear to God, at this point, I'm just gonna dress up as a goddamn donkey. I'm gonna be a Democrat. I'm gonna just be a Democrat on TikTok. Because I know damn well they will not kick me off. You can say anything you want if you're a Democrat, but you cannot say anything if you're a Republican, as we see with Jackson Dart. The franchise quarterback for the New York Giants introduces Donald Trump, President Donald Trump. And what happens? Number one, his jackass goddamn teammate goes on to the goddamn timeline. He starts some shit there. And then they have a conversation yesterday. About what? Y'all had a conversation with Chris Paul when he brought out Obama? Should I go ahead and take out photos of how many athletes went ahead and embraced Obama? Who cares? Who cares? Like, you know, as an American, it is a special thing, regardless if you're a Republican or a Democrat, to introduce the President of the United States of America. Like if it was me and it was, let's say, Biden, I'd be excited to introduce Biden. I'm not even kidding. Like I'd be, oh yeah, I don't agree with a lot of stuff that Biden does or says, but he is the president of the United States of America, and I am glad to go ahead and, holy shit, what an honor. I'm introducing the president of the United States of America. It's crazy, man. And they're trying to cancel this kid. They're trying to cancel this kid because he has different political views than you do. That doesn't make him bad. Okay? Just because you like chocolate and he likes vanilla doesn't make him a bad person. It's crazy, wild, absolutely wild. I'm going to try to go and speak like this from now on. So I want to fit in with the rest of the media heads and podcasters. Come on here and not, yeah, then they don't have that energy like I come on here with. They talk like this and they're calm and they look into the camera and they go through all these topics and they break them down. I can't do that, man. I can't do that. I'd rather cut my balls off. That feels like your balls have been cut off. That actually feels like you've been neutered. Anyway, markets. What are the markets doing? What are the markets doing? Let's go ahead and look at what the markets are doing. Courtesy of gmarkets.io. That's right. What the fuck is it? God damn it, I took the goddamn thing down. Give me a second. I should be more prepared. More prepared for this. Let's go ahead and look at the markets. We got Landy in the back. I don't like how Landy played this though. He paid off my editor to go ahead and write some bullshit about twisted my words in his favor and stuff. But let's look at G markets here. Top 5 right now. Bitcoin's at 73.8. All right, so it's climbed back up a little bit. I'm not too confident, and we're heading into the weekend. As Landy's gonna say, "Well, guys, we're heading back into the weekend, and there's not a lot of liquidity, so we shall see. We got to see how this closes, and we got to go ahead and touch ourselves to oil. That's right, crude oil, and we're going to talk about oil." Ethereum's back over 2,000. There you go. You got BNB at 639. You got XRP at 132. A lot of people wanted to get into XRP when it was hitting its highs. Well, there you go. You wanted to pull back. You got it. What else do we got? We got Solana at $82. I'll take Solana at 75, and you're good to go. Okay, I'll take Solana. And Tron, I don't know how Tron continues to be at 30, in the 30-cent area, man. I just don't understand. Total market cap, obviously, 2.57 trillion. Not bad. Not bad. When you zoom out, it's not bad. And I want to go ahead and bring up a tweet. Let's bring up a tweet that I've had here. Let's bring up a tweet here. That's right. Look at me. People are seeing me again. Let's look at the tweet here. All right. I wrote this today. And I said, if you're holding something with real long-term value, you're not checking the chart every 5 minutes. You know what you own. But if you're sitting there refreshing candles all day, hoping it comes back, deep down you already know some bags are dead. Some plays had their moment and they're not getting another one. Cut the loss for if you have to and move into something that actually has a chance to matter long term. I'd rather own a small piece of something real than a bigger piece of something nobody's ever going to care about. And that's true statement. That's a true fucking statement. What the fuck? Oh my God, I just read that out. That's crazy. I read that out and the screen wasn't even on. I read that out and the screen wasn't on. That sucked. That sucks. Anyway, let me take this off so you guys can look at my pretty face. I'm back. Hi. Hello. And hello to everybody tuning in. Let's then bring in Landy, who's going to talk about oiling himself up in the bathroom at night before he goes to sleep or some shit. Let's just bring him in here. Also question him about just random shit. Things like slipping money to my editor. What's going on, Landy?
Well, hey, David. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Looking good.
As usual.
People told me on the timeline that I am the OG looks maxer.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me and my awesome tuxedo over here.
No, I'm talking about myself here.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I posted
yeah,
a
looking
picture up
good. Yeah.
yesterday, and people said, "What's this kid's name? The one that beats himself up with hammers and shit."
Clavicular?
This dude, like you see, like you guys should be following me. Yeah, following. Did you see this kid? He got off of steroids. He looks like a. Okay, I am trying not to say bad things because I am preparing myself to get back onto TikTok. I'm trying my hardest. I won't curse no more.
He got
Okay.
mogged by the looks maxing judge. It was funny.
Who is this guy? Like this is your hero? This is your hero? Everybody looks up to this guy? Like he couldn't even lift. Did you see he tried to lift? He tried to bench press?
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible. Terrible.
It was not great.
Anyway, you're only on here for the fucking market, so fuck.
Yeah, so
bombs just went off.
You know, the markets obviously nice little bounce back off of support in one of the areas that I talked to you about, but it is entering a low liquidity weekend and we need to see how it closes.
I can't.
I was literally just going to repeat everything that you said.
I can't with this fucking. Yo, how much did you pay? How much did you pay my editor to go ahead and edit a video
in public?
No, you notice how the last part I don't agree was left in there, but why didn't I agree? Like, what was the subject matter to me saying I don't agree? That made me look really fucking stupid.
It was so perfect. You know what? Shout out to the editor. That was brilliant. It was a brilliant way to cut that up. I appreciate it.
That was dumb as shit, okay? I'm watching the video. I'm like, where's the context?
Oh my God. It was so funny.
Fuck. You just made me look like I just like wasn't like. Fuck. If I'm watching for the first time, I'm thinking this guy's a douchebag. They're ready. Some people can't stand me because of the way I look.
I saw that this morning. I was just laughing. I was like, you know what? And
You're
then, of course,
you were laughing
my
because
friends are sharing it around.
That shit wasn't flattering. Why are you sending me naked pictures of yourself? Oh, this is Trump.
Yeah, it's the actual post. Polymarket, the reason why you're seeing it at 11% is because he has said that he is not going to release any funding. Rob
thinks he is.
Well, Rob doesn't read what Trump is actually putting out there.
Wow.
Trump reads what the DNC is putting out there, not what Trump is putting out there.
Shots fired.
I know. It's going to be spicy later.
This is a...
Yep.
All right, listen, I put out a...
Pre-game in the takedown.
Jesus Christ.
From the top rope, here comes the puppet. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I was before we go into the markets, I was videotaping myself working out because they were like, we need to do some workout content of you training and working out. So I started videotaping myself working out, doing pull-ups and chin-ups and whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm watching. I'm like, I gotta say to Never mind. I got to focus on not saying things that can get me in hot water and shit. Shout out to the sponsors.
So essentially, you're capitulating to the mob on TikTok by self-censoring yourself here.
This sucks. I can't do this. I will say, Landy, I will say before we get into the markets, I
Mhm.
will say that I actually do admire anybody who can talk like this. Like that
Yeah.
calm voice. Let's break down Bitcoin. It's currently at 73,824. It looks good, but again, we're heading into the weekend where there's not a lot of volume or liquidity. So we got to sit back and just chill and wait, okay, for the markets to come back. And who knows what happens in June? We don't know. Could this be May go away? I can't do that. I like
I'm gonna do that for the Friday wrap-up video later today.
no, but there's something to admire about that, right? But that's more
Yeah.
that's like I don't know. I used to listen to talk radio, sports radio, after
Yeah.
like Ranger games, and like I forgot his name. Oh my god, shit, Steve Summers. That was his name. Steve
Oh
Summers.
yeah, you're going back.
Yeah. I would listen right after the games because I wanted to hear people call in and like what they had to say about the team's play and stuff. And he had
Yeah.
this really calming voice. Like it was a calm voice. This type of voice that will put you to sleep. I don't know if that's a good thing to have this calmness to you at 12:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where people are. It's a Friday. Everybody's ready to. Well, I don't know if everybody's ready to go outside because a lot of these motherfuckers don't. But you get what I'm saying. Everybody's ready for the weekend, and you're talking in this calm voice. I don't know. I think the calm voice thing should be done for a different show. Like if we're breaking shit down, I'm talking politics. I can't be like, I don't agree with you about the Trump thing right now. Like I just it doesn't come off right. It's not even me. How can
No,
I gotta be me? I gotta fly like in that movie, The Good Guys or the other guys.
the other guys. Yeah.
And he's like, you gotta let me fly. I'm a pigeon. I gotta fly some shit.
Something
I
along
gotta,
those lines. I forget the exact quote.
yeah, I gotta be me, man. Otherwise, nobody's gonna tune in. Nobody's
Look,
going to tune into the show. This is going to be the most boring show. We would rename this show to the most boring show in crypto and politics
there's
or
a
whatever.
personality type out there for everybody. Some people are gonna find that, much more in tune with the way that they want to listen. But you can't become something that you're not, right? Because then you don't enjoy it. I agree that kind of style is boring. It depends on, do I want that in my audiobook? Maybe if I'm trying to go to sleep, like yeah, just
I mean,
hear.
like if I'm reading out my own book that I write, like I get it. I'm not going to be screaming in your ear while you're on the beach.
I mean, that would be hilarious, honestly. Just to just do a super high energy read through of like
Chapter 1.
I'm sorry.
It all started in Brooklyn.
Oh my god.
I was
Yo,
born in Coney Island Hospital, where I believe I was dropped.
yo, you gotta do multiple tracks, just one where you're at that register, the high energy all the time, and then the very next they could switch tracks in between where you're like,
You know how crazy it
"So,
was? My mother didn't know how to speak English.
yeah.
So when the doctor came in and they would take, she basically, you imagine this? I could have been sent off to adoption because she said yes, not even knowing the fucking question. She legit said yes. And the question was, do you want your son to be circumcised? She didn't know. She didn't know what was being asked. They could have been saying, like, are you okay with us? Do you want to keep your kid? Like, you don't want to keep your kid? Like, whatever. Like, she could have just gave me away.
Oh man. The alternate
I could
universe.
I could have been Nat's fucking stepbrother or some shit.
You know, in an alternate universe, that means that there is a version of you out there that is like, so welcome to the show, everybody. Today on the breakdown, we're going to talk a little bit about markets. We're going to get into some politics and we're going to discuss the poly market. Let's get right into it.
You
I
know
hope
what's funny?
everybody's ready and excited.
You know what's I just realized? Do I even have to say it? I mean, like, if you guys are smart enough and you haven't, room temperature IQ, you'd get it.
No, I
I just laid
I
it
was
out for
gonna
you guys.
say something. I was gonna say something, but I just let it hang there in the room.
Let it hang there. Wow. Well, my book's coming soon, so you'll.
It's called TMI, a David Gokhshtein story.
I think people would thoroughly enjoy me talking to them,
Look,
screaming at them.
you were on a space earlier this week with Mexi that I think it was enjoyable. Got to hear a little bit more about you and see actually a calm radio voice, David, just having a conversation with a friend on a spaces stage. I thought that was enjoyable, right?
It
There's a
was.
time and a
I was a
place,
little bit
right?
nervous. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous because I do not like doing podcasts or
Yeah.
any sort of interviews because, like, people are going to ask you questions and, like, and they're gonna give you compliments and whatnot, and, like, I hate compliments, I don't take them well, and, like, I don't know, it's not like I'm scared to answer questions, it's just like I feel uncomfortable talking about myself.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
it
more
just
on the self-deprecating side
yeah,
of, I'm gonna gas myself up. It's a bit funny and self-deprecating, but when
yeah,
other people are being genuine, you're kind of like, yeah. Honestly, David, you know what this tells me about you psychologically? It tells me that you're actually an introvert in
yes, I
everyday
am,
life,
I
but an
am.
extrovert in an environment like this where you're more comfortable.
I'm a true Sagittarius. Like, if you look up what a Sagittarius is, which I am,
I've
that's
never
what
looked up any of
that
that
is.
stuff.
eh, You should. You should. The girls love it. Um,
My wife has never brought it up, so she's like,
find
"You
out
know
what
what?
her
I'm a this and you're a that." And
no.
that's why
Find
we're
out what
having
her
this
sign is.
conflict.
All right, listen, Landy. All right, I'm gonna give you a little tip here. All right.
Just a tip.
Wow. This is, I'm trying to be good here.
It's a
Thank God we're not
Friday,
on
bro.
TikTok. And
I can't help
we
it.
are canceled right now. Like at 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we would be canceled. Like the show,
Exactly, yes.
the stream ended at this point. Ask your wife what her sign is. Look up look up the traits of the sign,
Mhm.
and then just as you're sitting there watching, you know, uh, reruns on Nick at Night or some shit with her, you
Nick at Night, what am I, 60?
you go and you go ahead and look. I am an introvert, 100%. Like I can be
Yeah.
alone. I'm fine. Like I'm totally fine. Like I'm absolutely 100% fine with being in a room by myself for 18 hours or going out somewhere driving off for 24 hours. It doesn't matter. Like I'm good with that. But I'm also like, no, they just came up with the fucking label. It's not an introvert or I forgot the word that they use now. But I'm antisocial, but I'm not antisocial.
I would
It's
ag
it's weird.
I'm actually the same way. Well, for most you know this because you and I have talked, but I'm actually pretty introverted on a day-to-day basis. Um, but the difference is if I am or like in large crowds, I don't really say a lot, or at events, I don't really say a lot. I kind of am a bit of a wallflower. I just kind of listen and observe what's going on and try to just enjoy myself. But for many, many years, I was a stand-up instructor for various things, in conjunction with
When you
working with a
said
lot
that,
of
it just
large crowds.
I'm sorry.
I was stand-up guy, stand-up instructor. Um, I don't call myself a teacher, but essentially what I was doing is I was training people, um, and very, very large auditoriums of people. And I was actually in my element. But the interesting part about that is talking to a very large crowd or a very large auditorium, they went away. It was almost like I was just there because I'm by myself at that point.
Yeah.
It didn't like I it wasn't the same as if I went out into the auditorium and mixed in conversation, very different. But because I was up in the front having to actually describe things that I know and how to learn things and the process of learning these new skills and how to actually um, employ them in the field. This was something that I was in my element. There was like it was like I could just focus on 1 or 2 people and just bounce back and forth in the crowd, and I was in my element. But if you take me out of that element, I'm just, I can't be bothered to actually be that loud, boisterous person. So environments like this, especially being an anon little puppet back here, I actually feel much more comfortable in speaking my mind because it's interesting, even in on the internet, I I go on a lot of spaces. I come on here with you. I still get a little bit of like, "Oh, man, like, I hope that I don't say something really stupid," and I say a lot of stupid things anyway, and just so for anybody out there watching, I say a lot of stupid things out loud, and that's after I've already run things through the stupid filter. So
Yeah.
and I still get
I don't
nervous.
know how much running I'm doing.
Did you sprint through the filter and it missed you?
Again, you already know my story about what my mom almost did to me.
Yo, that is if that ends up being a clip, that's how
Don't
you
do it.
know that I'm paying the editor.
You probably are.
David, actually, let's talk markets real quick because
Yeah, go for it.
so Bitcoin actually did make the move below 74. I talked to you about the 74 to 76 zone that Bitcoin was in. And if we lost it, we're probably looking down to, 72 to $70,000. We actually did move down to 72 and we're now seeing a nice bounce back to 74. Where you were you freaking nailed it. No diddy right at the very beginning. What was I going to say? Well, hey, we're coming into the low liquidity weekend. I don't actually like bounces on a weekend or lows that are set over a weekend. We are in a daily downtrend. So the thing that I am watching, you nailed it, oil. Reason why.
Alright, hold on.
I want to explain this real quick.
I don't know how I
Real
could
quick.
take this seriously right now. You
I know
nailed
it's
it with oil.
yeah, you nailed it with oil. All diddy.
Got it.
It was perfect. You slicked up the rails and here I came sliding in. All right. So but
You know what? I think the next time we're on TikTok is the final time, and I'll just call it the final show because this is never going to work. This is never fucking going to work.
I will be 100% professional TikTok. I swear. I swear that I won't swear or say any untoward things. Um, here's something that you and I actually did talk about a little bit earlier this week and a little bit last week is if we see oil moving down pretty aggressively, specifically below like 90 to 95 for WTI for those that want to go look at the chart. What you don't want to see and you want to see oil moving down as Bitcoin heads into a support like at 72 at the top side of the 70 to 72 range. You want to see oil head down and you want to see this bounce. Here's the danger though is for a trend change on the daily because we have we had this beautiful uptrend, and a lot of people were really getting very bearish right here when we transitioned into an uptrend. They, oh no, it's got to go lower, and they missed out, right? And so now that we're in this downtrend, they're getting really bullish again. And the criteria is very clear. We just we just came down to a very key level. We're getting a lower term time frame bounce. In lower term time frames, we just came back and tested the kind of breakdown, the two breakdown candles from the 74 level, and we just tested into 74. We are headed into that low liquidity weekend. And the key to understand here is that oil has been moving down, Bitcoin's been moving down and losing levels at the same time. You want to see oil move down and continue to move down while Bitcoin holds these levels, whether it's 70,000 to $72,000, and then breaks the downtrend. In this case, it's got to recover above the 70 to 74 rather to $76,000 area, and then test these lower highs right here around the 78 to 78 and a half level. That would be good. The problem is if oil, which is aggressively moving down right now, bounces and starts to head up, you're going to see Bitcoin slide off because it is going to cause the highest risk assets to be rotated out of. So that means if we're rallying off of a lower low, you don't want to see oil bouncing if Bitcoin isn't making any kind of trend breaks. So, we could rally aggressively, through into Monday. And if oil spikes, what's likely going to happen is, Bitcoin would sell off again. The other thing to note is if Bitcoin doesn't set a low and just kind of goes sideways here, and oil then begins to rally, expect it to fall into the actual support and potentially more. That's the big thing that I am watching for, because the traditional markets are shaking off any kind of lower term time frame spike in oil with smaller corrections, and they're just melting up, continuing at new all-time highs. And therefore, the risk environment, you can really draw correlations in that risk environment with oil and Bitcoin in this case on those lower term timeframes. Because when oil spiked up yesterday, even though it sold off and ended the day red, that's what caused the breakdown of Bitcoin to head down here. It was confluent with that. Now, again, end of March, what did we see? Beginning of March, we went from April into middle March, nice rally, and then sell off as things started to get more serious. And oil started to rise. After oil started to settle down is when Bitcoin went on its run from 65 to 82 and a half. I do think it's very important that if you are hunting for value, you give this time to play out, right? The conditions that you want to see from here as it stands right now, the last lower highs at essentially 78 to 78.5. You would need to see that break. And you'd want to see, even if we did get a rally or a mean reversion in oil back to the upside, you'd want to see it in a position of strength after a trend break, rather than seeing it continuing in this downtrend and just getting little bounces, oil spikes in lower term timeframes, and Bitcoin continues to bleed out. So I do think it's going to be important to watch and pay attention, right? Because a lot of the weekend is probably going to be filled with news, which might cause some volatility for Bitcoin and assets that trade 24/7. You mentioned that Rob's going to be here a little bit later. We're going to talk about politics and likely talk about what's going on with the Iran situation. And realistically, um, over a weekend, while these discussions are happening or while the decision is being made, I believe Trump is taking the weekend to go into the Situation Room and evaluate where they are with the deal or a potential deal and what that looks like moving forward. Um, and we don't know. It's been whipsaw. There was a deal and then there's no deal, and that's a lot of the news because nothing was being confirmed out of the administration. They'd never confirmed anything one way or the other. There was speculation out of Pakistan, and then everybody got excited, and then no deal, and then there's strikes, and then there's this. It's all fog of war, and until we actually get a definitive deal signed, or we completely go full kinetic again, you just have to beware that that kind of news doesn't really matter. You need to watch that a lot of times that's influencing the lower term timeframes and not the higher term timeframes, and structure and trend matter. Markets are in an uptrend in traditional markets. Right now, Bitcoin's in a daily downtrend. And until the uptrend shifts by breaking in those markets, or the downtrend shifts by breaking it in Bitcoin, those lower term time frame volatility and hype on and or disappointment on the timeline don't really matter. It's just noise until we see something concrete that could actually result in the underlying economics of the situation changing.
I really want you see how the markets react as soon as they, any mention of the wars coming to an end, the markets react positively. I'm
In
talking
the
about
lower
for
term time frames, yeah.
it's just weird though, like crypto's on that kind of like the right now the traditional market just continues to move up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't give a shit about the news.
Well, that's because, and I've talked to you about this a lot, and that's because demand destruction and those higher prices and the inflation pressures that are occurring in Europe and Asia are causing capital flight to US markets because they're the most liquid and have the most opportunity for further upside.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons why I think we're seeing what we're seeing. I'll be honest with you. I think that we actually get a larger correction if there is a resolution to this. I think we get a larger correction. Markets can continue to melt, and I'm not going to get in the, it's like in hyperliquid. People keep trying to short it, short it, short it. It's like,
Yeah.
why would you step in front of the
Of
freight
course,
train
you gotta
unless
mention
something?
everything that you have.
Yes.
Everything that you fucking
Oh,
love.
I'm chilling right now. I
Yes.
mean, we could go through all this through all my portfolio, but we would be here until
I
the
just
next
want everybody to
conversation.
notice, like, he's shilling, right? You would think it would be me who's shilling. No, 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 no. It's him who shills. Just want everybody to know that. Okay.
100%. Um, Point being, though, I'm not going to step in front of the freight train until I see something fundamentally shift in terms of price action or fundamentals that are in conjunction with price action. So, like for traditional markets, I'm not going to get in front and go, take short positions out right here, right now in any kind of big way. I'm just, I am taking profits on positions on the way up. So, whether that's, on the call side or the covered call side and things getting hit and then reducing the size of those positions, that's very different than from me shorting the market.
Yeah.
And when it comes to traditional markets, we've been hitting those targets. I've been saying take it 5 points at a time for something like SPY, right? And we just hit the 758. So I was looking. I think on Wednesday I had mentioned like back to take it 5 points at a time back to the highs. 750 look to 755. We got that yesterday, and then from there look to 760, and so far we've hit 758. Um, in 760 as a run, but there's no reason to get in the way of this. This is a beautiful uptrend, and it's not until it starts to crack, right? If we start to see a trend change, we start to see a consolidation that's looking like things are starting to turn the other way. That's where, I'd be more interested in this coming down for a wider correction. Um, but you can't fade the Trump pumps. And obviously not incorporating crypto into that, but
Fucking Dell sent yesterday,
I
man.
know, right? Wild
Fuck.
stuff. But if you look here, on the
Well, at least my
daily,
port stock is doing good. Go ahead.
right? Right here, like this was, Q1 to Q2 of 2025, big 20% drawdown, everybody screaming bear market, V recovery. And then we get the highs up here, which, essentially this was the first initial high. I know this actually isn't drawn right because it's drawn on a weekly. Um, but so if we were to draw this on a weekly, this was me talking to somebody else. So the highs are a little bit higher here. I was talking about the March up for these markets here, but essentially you had the bigger correction, right? That was this one here of about 10, just shy of 10%, right? So you had a 20% sell off to a 40, almost 45% run up. This is very much a Trump market. We saw this a lot in Trump's first term anyway. And then we go down, almost 10%. We're up almost 20.5%, right? So can it keep pushing? I would start to look for I'm not really interested in a much wider correction in this until we start to see this slow down and get some consolidation. Um, and we start to see structural changes on like a daily that could potentially lead to more. You don't get in the way of this. Like, why would you get in the way of this right now? And then have to potentially keep doubling down to pull your entries up on any short side position. And this is, where people are very despondent and really they're disappointed in the performance of crypto. But the reality is, look at a weekly, right? After we broke the trend on the weekly with the big rundown to 80K from a weekly perspective, and there was a lot of consolidation here, giving us a warning that the trend was cracking right here at 107, 107 250 range. We swung down below it, showing, bears got some pull here. They could potentially push it down further. And then we got the actual move down. So it showed that the trend could crack by breaking it on a swing basis. That was a character change for Bitcoin. And then it was the rundown to lower high and then lower lows. So until this trend, we have the local trend cracked here. It's not the setup that I'm looking for a macro low or anything like that just yet, but you know, we need to see a wider character change. So we want to see this come down. We want to see it test in a bullish manner. We want to see if we can test further up and potentially take out this impulsive move down where it started off the rejection at 98, which just so happens to be right around the highs. We had the trend. We had the nice consolidation and moved to 74.4, and then we had this area right here that was rejected after losing, kind of the base of structure up here that was kind of holding things up. So I'm looking for character changes. There's no reason for me to change my mind until I see something substantial here. And I think that it's all opportunity. I want to see, I think this is all opportunity in a downtrend. If you aren't paying attention and taking advantage of opportunity to the downside in these types of environments, then you are going to be chasing when it turns around and heads back to the upside. And you're going to look at everybody that told you so to pay attention to these kinds of downtrends, whether it stays here and this is the low or lower and it heads down to test this area and this high or something like that. You're going to say, oh, you were lucky. No, you were present and you had a plan. So the trend is your friend until the end of the trend, David. You can laugh all you want. But watch
I don't
oil.
know. Yo, man, I swear to God, I don't know why it hit me just like 2 minutes ago
Yeah.
as you're doing all this shit.
Yeah, I know.
This is like
I took it over. We went
it's
full
like
TA mode.
astrology for men.
Well, see, this is why
No, but
this
I'm
is
saying that
the
I'm not saying it
conversation
is.
earlier.
I'm just saying that's all that was hitting. Like, you know that joke, right?
Yes.
And it's in my it was in my head just now, and I'm just I don't laugh, like I'm straight faced, man. Rest in bitch face. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm watching this, I'm like, wow, astrology for men.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons why when you said something about signs, I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, because that this is astrology for men and women. Okay, that's what TA is. Don't worry, no one ever knows what's going to happen. I just happen to have all the levels that consistently get hit, and I get to say I told you so. Now that is not me being cocky. Anyone can do this. Just open up a chart and look. Oh, it's a downtrend. Wow, we're geniuses now. Um, but realistically, in reality, until we see something substantially change on higher term timeframes, like the weekly continuing, the weekly is very, very easy to understand. It's get back above the 82.5 monthly, which is, you know, this here, that close open retest. This is bearish territory. As long as we can get past that and you see 65K held on a closing basis, which is the last higher low, great. And by the way, you could just go like this and you can see this was 65K over here. And It's either going to go down and plumb the lows, or it's going to get continuation up. And that's when we can say green means go. Not necessarily right away, probably get a pullback, but any closes above this guy here at 98K, and then you're good to go. And then red, danger, 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 Will Robinson. Here, you want some Nick at Night? Danger, Will Robinson.
I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
of
know
course not.
who Nick Robinson is, bro.
So look, David watches reruns of Leave It to Beaver all of the time.
Yo,
I
hold on,
can't
hold on, hold on.
believe that
Hold
he
on,
is.
hold on. You're showing your age, man, because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Fucking Leave It to Beaver. What the fuck are you talking about? I have no clue. The reruns, like I would watch maybe American Gladiator or some shit.
Yeah. So if the audience didn't get it, Leave It to Beaver is David's OnlyFans handle.
Oh my god.
And he typically will, if you have one, he's going to subscribe to you. That's who you're going to see. You're going to know that's DG, baby.
I should do an OnlyFans though. Like I've been thinking about. I'm posting up. I did. What? That was my. I think 3 or 4 selfies this year. So I'm like thinking, like, why am I giving these things out for free? I'm hot, sexy ass. I should be on OnlyFans, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I have so many jokes for this that are so inappropriate, dude. So inappropriate. Oh man, there's so many. There's so much room for activities.
And I can speak to you. I am bilingual, so I can speak to you.
You can yell at me in Russian. He only talks like this on OnlyFans, so make sure you tune in to the latest.
Oh my god! Oh my lord!
The latest live stream.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
He's gonna talk to you like this, but in Russian. I don't think I've ever heard a Russian talk in this register, though.
Yeah, I that is weird. And we'll be right back after this commercial break. Fuck.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back. I was so intrigued by comments that I forgot to go take a leak. But welcome back to the breakdown, episode 718. That's right, the breakdown 718. Holy shit, 718 episodes, and that is official, but the unofficial number is way more than that. Okay, absolutely way more than that. Join. It's Friday, man. It is fucking Friday. Just leave me the fuck alone. This show is also sponsored by Crest. That's right. Get yourself. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
And again, this show is sponsored by Crest. Okay? For all you people that have shitty ass breath and some fucked up teeth, well, use some Crest, right? Advanced. Whiter teeth in 5 days. I don't know about some of you guys. This shit might take about fucking 3 years. Anyway, welcome back. Shout out to Midnight, Poly Market, Cake Wallet, Quad Network. We're back. What's up, Landy?
Yeah.
It's
So hi,
Friday.
hi,
It's
David.
Friday. We're feeling good. It's sunny, right? It's sunny out. Well, on the East Coast, it's sunny. Okay, it's beautiful. I think it's like 70 degrees. After this show, I'm definitely going to rock out with my,
Yeah.
and I just do my thing,
Socks on and everything. Yeah.
Socks. That's right. With flip flops. Socks. White socks with flip flops.
I'm sorry. But wait,
Like a Russian, like a true Russian would come out with the flip flop with the white sock.
oh no, we gotta update. We gotta update the look, man. It's gonna have to be white socks and Crocs.
That's what I should do. I should drive down to Brighton Beach. That's
as with cowboy boots.
I should drive down to Little Odessa. That's right.
Oh man, it's actually really beautiful here on the West Coast right now. I'm looking forward to the weekend because man, what a freaking week already.
Right. Right. When you have that, never mind. I'm gonna hold my mouth back on that. But
nothing you can say right now is gonna be kosher by any stretch of the imagination, Mr. Been kicked out of the kosher club.
hey, listen, man, it's tough. It's tough out here not being a part of a tribe.
Yeah, look, it is what it is.
It's tough. It's tough. It's tough. So basically, if everything goes right, I go out to Cali
Yeah,
in August.
nice.
So I'm I haven't had any injuries or any. Watch what happens today. Said
Don't.
it.
Don't do it. Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
But,
You're gonna curse yourself.
but yeah, like I'm excited. I'm not like
NorCal though,
how do you
man.
deal with the fucking earthquakes and shit? Like that's kind of weird, bro. Like just
We,
like
we
to be
don't we don't get them as often as people think. We get a lot of little earthquakes, but we don't get yeah, we don't really get the bigger earthquakes
you just don't
anymore.
feel them anymore.
Well, I mean that's true. There have been a few larger ones recently, but we haven't had like the earthquake, the one to end it all, right? That
And that's
the
disappointing, right?
constantly predicted. I mean,
Right? Like
just
because I
not while
always
I'm
said
here.
I don't want California to be a part of the United States of America. Just fucking go ahead and make it its own island at this
I know,
point.
trade Alberta for California and let
Oh, Canada,
right? Like,
cowman. I know the anthems. So don't get me. I'm a great singer.
look, I think what if you're coming out here, you're gonna be coming out here in the summer, NorCal,
Could
right?
you see me at? Hold on, let me ask you a question. Could you see me being like a SoCal
SoCal
dude?
David. Hmm.
Could you see that? Nah.
Yeah, no, I think that you would like it. Honestly,
I think I would
look,
disrupt everything. Like it would be crazy.
if we're simply talking about the weather, and definitely, going down towards San Diego and towards the actual coast, I think you would freaking love it.
I
It's
would love to
amazing.
jet ski all year long.
It's amazing. Like going down to the pier, right? Like
There's
just
a
stay
pier
away from
here.
LA. Yeah, but it's your the
No, no, but
Pacific is different.
hold on. I don't live in New York City.
I know that, but the Pacific
Okay,
is
like,
very different.
but if you go down the Hudson River and you jet skiing, you're gonna get hit with an arm or some shit
It's a
and a diaper, and you're gonna
jump
come
out of
out
the water.
full of oil and gas.
Three-eyed fish is coming at you. Um, yeah,
It's
it's
wild.
look, the coastal areas, especially in Southern California, I think are beautiful. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. So
Is the Pacific Ocean that beautiful?
it is. Yeah.
So it's better than the Atlantic Ocean?
I you know, I would agree with that actually, having gone down to now, I'm not just being biased because I went to Jersey to go see the Atlantic Ocean.
What is this with Jersey? You guys, hold on. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is this a California thing where people like the first thing is I went down to Jersey?
I lived in the tri-state area, so where was I gonna
Okay,
go?
but fuck Jersey. Nobody gives a shit about
If
Jersey.
you're gonna go to the beach, you're going to the shore. Like that
I'm done. I am so
I
done. I
got
am
it.
so done. I'm done.
I'm passing through the Catskills, I'm taking the back roads, and I'm going into Jersey, and I'm going to the
Uh,
shore. Like,
nah,
I'm taking the
nah,
scenic
that's
route
not.
through. Why
Nah.
would I go anywhere? Why would I go to Long Island? Huh?
First of all, we don't
What's
even say
there?
it like that. I don't even
I
know what the
know,
fuck.
I
What
know.
was that all about? Long Island. Like nobody
Long
talks that
Island
way.
with no, I
No,
know.
nobody says it that way.
No, nobody there says it that way, but everybody else outside of New York City says it that way.
Long
So,
Island.
Long
What the fuck are you
Island.
talking about? You sound
Um,
drunk.
well, yeah, I mean, that's go anywhere upstate, and they're gonna say it that way. They
I
will.
go upstate.
Look, just because you traveled to the northern tip of the island, that is not
No,
upstate.
I've traveled, okay, for a conference upstate,
Once when you
blew
were
out
5.
blew out 3 tires, okay, on one fucking pothole, and saw a bunch of fucking cows. I was praying to God. Okay, it took me 7
Thought he
hours to get home, and I had a
thought he was
concussion.
in Alabama for a little bit. He's like, "What the hell is this?"
No, I'm not even kidding. I was it was a 2-day conference. I was heading back home. I hit this fucking pothole. I ain't fucking see it. I had run flats. Thankfully, I had run flats. But when I hit the pothole, I hit it so hard that I flew. Like I flew and hit my head on the top.
Was it
Yo, I'm
like
telling you, Landy, I know for sure I had like a mild concussion. That or I had whiplash. It was a severe case of it. I was like, yo, I was like Van Damme, where am I? Like, I have no clue what happened. I I I stopped at a gas station with a guy with like 3 teeth with the cigarette just in the gap. Okay.
Yep.
Saying something. I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Okay. You think my English is bad? You should hear this guy. But
Oh,
I'm
that's
sitting
funny.
there. He's like, you know, you got bubbles on all 3 tires. And I walk
Yep.
out, and they're like, the bubbles are like humongous, bro. And these are run flats. I'm like, how am I getting home? I don't got no spare. These cars don't come with spares, bro. Bro, I was stuck in the Lincoln Tunnel, bro, like for 9 years. You know how scary that shit is? Being stuck inside the Lincoln Tunnel. Yeah, I
That's
made it
funny.
home, and I had to piss. I really had to piss so bad, man. Like, I was stuck in the Lincoln Tunnel for 35 minutes, and like I was like, I'm gonna pee on myself right now. Like you know, I started looking for bottles. Like like there was a point where you start looking. What would you rather do? Pee in a bottle or have your bladder fucking go like burst inside of you, man? Like it's just like you gotta pick and choose life or death here, bro. Thankfully,
Man.
Thankfully, I don't know what the fuck it was, but thankfully it started moving. Now I'm on the west side. The west side has fucking traffic. And then they close off the fucking tunnel, so you got to go all the way around and get on the Brooklyn Bridge, which has even more fucking traffic.
I mean, it depends on which way you were coming out through, but I don't envy the drive up to, like, especially if you're going up towards Albany,
Yeah,
or
but that's
anywhere.
easy. That's
Yeah,
like
that's
that's
easy.
easy. Like going into the city is like Mario Kart.
Yes.
Like it is literally Mario Kart. You are if you are not watching, you are fucked. Like you are absolutely fucked. Yo, if you can drive in the city, you can drive anywhere. I don't give a shit. Like if you can drive in the city, and I don't care what your race is, like you are good.
I just think it's funny that depending on which side of the Hudson you're driving up, once you kinda get past Poughkeepsie, there's just nothing. It's just there's nothing.
Zero.
It's just you feel like you've entered the twilight zone for quite a long time, actually. And then
I
you
love, you
arrive
know
at
what it is? I love New York, but I
yeah.
know like my attitude, like I feel like I should have been, I should have been raised in in the in the Midwest, or I should have been somewhere in the South. That's how I. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I
Mm,
wish, or I feel like my energy pulls there.
yeah,
I don't
I
know
mean,
why. It's always been a thing. I've always sat back. I'm like I'm. You guys might not think I'm laid back, but I really am laid back. After this show, I'm laid back. I'm cool.
you were born in the sticks, brother. You were born near the place
What are
where
you
they
talking?
tested.
Did you not hear me say? Did you
You were
not hear the
literally born
entry,
in
the
and
first chapter of my fucking book?
I know, but it's just to me, when I look at, like, where you were, one, you're from an area that has, like, crazy history, so maybe you were abducted and they ran experiments. You were actually living in the South somewhere, and they ran experiments on you, and now you just don't remember it, right? You know, you were too young, you're not really sure. I
My
mean,
cousins used to
anybody
tell me that I was adopted.
well, for anybody that doesn't know the
Now I'm a
history of
trauma's
Montauk,
coming now.
you
Traumas
gotta
now.
yeah, well, for anybody in the audience who is not familiar with the area of Montauk and the history there, go look it up. It's a very interesting history, and you'll understand why I think that David might have been abducted and been experimented on.
What the fuck? You are a freak, bro.
Well, I mean, they say they ended the program there, but I don't think they did.
Welcome to the breakdown. All right, Landy, I want to touch on this subject because there are a lot of people that tune in and they love their memes, and they've been telling me I haven't been talking about memes, even though I think I think I've been a big advocate of saying like, hey, memes are a thing and they're not going anywhere. I even got listen, I even won over Charles. Charles sees the benefits of memes.
Yeah, sure.
I'm
He's
just
not
saying.
humoring you.
Yo, my God, I was dying laughing yesterday. Bro, that whole Rager, the Venom with the where you get you drink. Never mind. I don't want to fucking I don't want to do this. But people are asking me about memes, okay?
Yeah.
You want to take a look at some memes on
Oh, you want me to pull up meme charts? You know,
Can you pull up meme charts?
there is something that you said that I think is very key, and they're not going anywhere. So I think that is a point that needs to be
What do you
stressed.
mean by that, Landy?
They're definitely not going anywhere.
Okay.
And well, if you look at the top cap memes of
Pull them up.
yesteryear at this point,
Pull them up. Come on.
well,
Before you and Rob go ahead and sword fight each other, let's see some charts on memes and
all right.
and guesstimate.
Well, I'd like to bring up a darling that actually did perform really well, that I actually have been accumulating because why
What's that?
not? Hold on, let me get this here. But when I say that you're correct about they're not going anywhere, definitely not going anywhere. It's been flatlined with some
What is
bumps
that?
in the
Pepe?
road. No, this is the fart coin.
Oh my God. Damn.
This is not a chart that is pretty at the moment, but that's when opportunities present themselves. When you start looking at something like a Pepe, Pepe also not looking great on the daily here. Not looking great on the weekly here. It is now plumbing the highs of this peak over here, and if you wanna switch it to market cap, we can.
Do you see how the motherfuckers hide in this chat waiting for this conversation?
So what we see now is the highs are being hit over here from the initial
What is that? Pepe?
yeah, Pepe, the big run up. We're just now seeing this liquidity get taken from these highs over here,
Okay.
which does open up the door for lower to like 710 mil to 400 mil.
Oh my God.
But here's the thing. What you need to see in order for that not to come to fruition is for this consolidation range to not be lost on the low side around the 1.25 to 1.3 billion. And you want to see recovery above 1.7 and in particular you'd want to see it getting above 2.5 bill. This is not a pretty this is not a pretty chart, but it is in a consolidation right now.
Can I say something about
Sure.
all right. 2023 Pepe obviously comes out, right?
Yeah.
And the market's dead when it comes out. Like the market is absolutely fucking horrible. Like the sentiment in the market in crypto was horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And here goes Pepe on this run.
Mhm.
In 17 days, it goes to $1.7 billion.
Yeah, it was in April of 23, yeah.
Yeah. I was at NFT NYC. Fucking hate that shit. But shout out to it's not that I hate NFTs, it's just that every time I go there, it's just like opportunities start coming out. I mean, it always happens.
Mhm.
But Pepe came along at like a time where the market was dead. Nobody thought there was any liquidity in the markets. And it sends to 1.7 billion.
Mhm.
But there was a crowd around it.
Yeah.
I make this point all the time and people get mad at me, but it's the truth. You had this big crowd where I'm telling you, there was 19, 20 spaces open, an average of over 300 people per space. Okay. So
Hmm.
that says something, right? That's, when you have over 300 people in a space and everybody just focus on one thing,
Yeah.
it's going to thrive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When I
Yeah, I
look at
don't.
Pepe now, you
We're
don't
not.
have the spaces open. Okay. You
Yeah.
don't have people just like, rallying together behind Pepe. You don't have that. You have a few people on the timeline that talk about Pepe, great, but like the energy, the effort isn't there.
Yeah.
It just isn't there. By the way, I'm not bashing Pepe because I hold it. I'm just saying in general, like the energy isn't there. So to me, it's like,
Yep.
what happens if like right now, like I look at this and I'm like, well, if you don't have those 10, 20 spaces open constantly and you don't have everybody talking about Pepe, what happens? Like, is it going to 69 billion like everybody's, consistently predicted? Or at most, does it go back to its previous all-time high and that's it? Like it's really one of those questions. It's like, this is where I say like everybody says that they're gonna flip Dogecoin, that Dogecoin is shit, da 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 da. But right now, guess who's top dog?
Yeah.
It's Dogecoin.
Yeah.
And I feel
But
like until Dogecoin moves,
in
nothing
market
really
cap, it is.
moves.
But they all look the same, in terms of like structured. Is it hasn't found the actual bottom yet? Could it? And look, for something like Pepe, you'd want to see this area that it's currently trading in between 1.18 billion market cap and 1.85 billion market cap. You want to see it consolidating in here and then starting to break back out and recover, the closing lows over here from the prior structure up. And realistically, I would think that, we're starting to look at things really turning around, especially if it were to hold the bottom side down here, which is just the close open on the weekly over here at 1.18 to 1.2 billion market cap, and kind of hold this zone because things get pretty nasty to the next big area of interest, below 1 billion, and even below 1.18 billion. Swings outside of it are fine, but you don't want to see consistent closes below it. It just tested the actual high, the initial high before that consolidation from, post run up to, breaking a billion, which happened very quickly. Um, to when it broke back in here, which was, in February of 24. So we went literally from May of 23 to February of 24, long form consolidation. A nice inverted head shoulders pattern here for the traders out there. Many were discussing this even at the time, was this nice inverted head and shoulders here. And it's that's ugly, but you know it got its measured move, and then some. And but it was a nice bottoming formation. And we haven't quite seen the bottoming formation present itself. And I think that Pepe is going to do well when it's time for memes to shine again. The problem is, and the same problem, when you're talking about those days when people were all coming together around one specific narrative and token, there wasn't a lot of these, right? There wasn't a lot of meme coins.
Yeah.
There was there, and now there's just a glut of them, and when you string liquidity out that wide in its particular category or market segment, it just becomes tougher and tougher for each larger cap token to make those larger moves because you need exponentially more money going in on the way up to keep it going up. And then that excitement begets people launching and extracting over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And, it had a beautiful run up. And this is not a bad structure. You just don't want to see it breaking down, in my opinion, from here, or it's going to be a much longer, tougher journey for those who are long term holders. And you just got to be patient. The thing is that you want to identify the opportunity in these types of downtrends. And look, I traded Pepe, I held Pepe, I sold a lot of Pepe, and I continued to I continued to stay involved and buy off of this level, knowing full well that I was looking for the next level. I've accumulated there. And I'm waiting to see if it heads down to accumulate the next one, right? Do things get really bad? This is how you know things get bad. You drop this low down here. You could maybe even say take this area here at like 350 million.
Oh my
That's
god.
bad. That would be horrible. That would be absolutely atrocious. And you'd see a lot of weak hands either give up. You'd probably see a lot of people just out at that point. There's a lot of people gone. They're out. They aren't even paying attention anymore anyway, right? So
Yeah, that's a good point that you make. And now we'll be serious, obviously. I think that's a good point because with all these memes that come out every fucking 5 minutes, not 5 minutes, every 5 seconds, um, there's not enough liquidity to support any of these things, and the attention span is down to like 34 seconds. So
mhm.
I don't know. Even if you have a bunch of liquidity that comes back into the markets in the next few months, I don't know. I've been sitting back on this. I don't know. I don't know if you can ever. Obviously, Pepe's at a billion and stuff like that. But I don't know with everything else. I don't know how you can hit a billion anymore.
it
Like if
it
you're talking about 2021, yeah, like 100% you can. I mean, Pepe would probably be at like 20 billion right now. If it's 2021 without all the pump fund shit that we have now.
yeah,
No,
look,
no, seriously, Landy. Like,
I
if you take
agree.
away pump fund and you take away, where anybody can go ahead and create a contract now without knowing any code, you know, where would Pepe be sitting? It probably at 20 billion.
Well, I agree with you. The industry keeps moving forward and innovating and effing around and finding out, right? So it's inevitable for the innovation once, especially when you have something like the meme coins proving to be runners, it's going to beget that becoming a narrative and people building towards that. And to if there's demand for it, obviously you have then that are going to come in and meet that demand in whatever manner you take it, right? Whether it's creating like cool innovative things or whether it's there to extract liquidity. That's normal. I mean, you could just switch it out for any narrative. We're going to see the same thing occur. Hyperliquid is in the process of proving out that institutions, when catered to, will come in and completely provide that liquidity to the chain and investment and deals and relationships form, right? So they're proving that out that is a not only a hot thing, but is the future of where they want to head up. And now, what is everybody doing? Everybody's pivoting to cater to those institutions, right? So, Hyperliquid gets to enjoy the shine right now, especially in a bear market period, because it is
No,
a
but
bear market, right?
look, I love Hyperliquid,
But other people are coming for that. They're coming for the crown, always.
but I'm just saying, like, if you take away, if pump fund never comes out, right?
Yeah, somebody else would have made it, David.
Say that again.
Somebody else would have made
No,
it.
no, no. I'm saying if we don't have, and obviously technology is ever evolving. I get it. I understand. Me and you are in agreement here.
Yeah.
If people didn't have the capability of, just spinning up a contract, right?
Hmm.
Pepe's not in this position.
Yeah, I
Or I would say a lot of the real memes are not in this position. Because
I
now
think
you're
that
focused on, this is what I believe. Now you're focused on real memes and you don't give a fuck about entry points. Does everybody want to get at 1 million? No doubt. But I used to get into things at 5 million, 10 million, 15 million. So like you don't have that, oh shit, if this shit is over 1 million, I'm not going in. I'll wait for the next contract to launch.
yeah.
Like you don't have that kind of mindset that we have now. And like people you didn't have the Jeter mindset. Like people weren't coming
Well,
in. People held and then got out. Like,
You
it
had
wasn't
the
like,
cheater mindset
nah,
was a
it wasn't like
carryover
that. It
from
wasn't like
NFTs.
this. You think it was like this? It was never like this.
No, it was a copy paste of NFTs in my opinion. It
What?
really
You
was
think
in
hold on,
terms
you
of
think me
narratives.
no, no,
Yeah.
no, people held memes. You can go to sleep knowing that you'll wake up and, like, your meme's not rugged.
Yeah, but my point is people did that at the beginning of the NFT run too. It's the same thing. And then
No, they're
everybody
not
comes
they're
in,
too
everybody
no, no,
launches,
no.
there's derivatives
NFTs were different.
everywhere.
No, NFTs were different. I'll tell you why NFTs were different. Oh, you're talking about now versus or
Yeah, no,
where are we talking?
I'm saying like in the life cycle of it, when you look at it,
Yeah,
it's very similar to the NFTs because people were holding, they believed in it from the tech side of things, from the innovation side of things. And then once it was proven out as a concept that could make a lot of money, and it all of a sudden
okay.
you get derivatives of everything, constant
That's when it came to
launches.
an end, though.
Yeah, but
That's
that's
when
what also
NFTs came
came that's what marked the end of the meme coin run.
No, it didn't. I'm talking about the last one. I'm not talking about this one in particular. I'm talking about
Um, well,
2021. I'm
oh,
not
okay,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah,
now, obviously, like NFTs, when they came out, people saw an opportunity. First of all, they're not liquid assets, right? Like, and people saw an opportunity. That's
I
it.
mean,
Like, people saw
some tried to make them liquid, some tried to
some
make
try, but like it's never
tried,
gonna work, right? So,
yeah,
like, bottom line, you need to come out with a token, and a lot of them try to do it, and some found success, some didn't. Most didn't.
yeah,
All I'm
I would say
saying is,
most, yeah,
if you
by a
didn't,
large margin.
we, the only people that are making money in this meme economy are the products, and that is the launch pads. They're making money. The
Mhm.
wallets are making money, right? Every transaction that when you do that swap on Phantom, guess who's making money? Phantom, not you, right? It's like they're making the money. The people at Pump Fund are making billions of dollars. Okay. You're chasing candles. They're sitting back and they want this, right? They want for everybody to create contracts. It
Yeah.
works in their benefit. But it really is respectfully is destroying. It's honestly made this ecosystem go 3 step backwards.
I I
No, but
don't
that's the
kn
truth, Landy, because like it is the truth. That is, I know you're gonna say something, you're gonna be like, I don't agree.
I think it
But
was gonna happen either way, though.
no,
I
I
don't
don't
think
think
you can stop it from moving forward. If it wasn't them, it'd be somebody else. I think
no, but
somebody always steps in to fill that void, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I agree with you. If it's not pump fund, it's whatever, XYZ. Like somebody
Mhm.
would have done this already. And yeah, I get it. And it's a free market. Anybody can do what the fuck they want. But what this brought in all the broccoli heads, all the Fortnite players, and now we have an economy that used to hold that doesn't hold no more because they don't trust holding anymore. They don't believe in holding. So they're motherfuckers are just taking 1x profits and that's it. And they're going on to the next one. They're losing it. You know what's funny? People win and then they lose 3. That's what it is.
Mhm.
Like I watch it on the timeline. The only people that are winning are the platforms and then the people that are on the inside. That's it. That's the only people that are winning.
By a fairly large margin, I would agree with you.
And it's not like, it's either you're poor or you're rich kind of thing in this particular sector.
Yeah.
And the people, I don't think they even calculate. Like they'll go into these shitty ass memes, if you want to call them that, and they'll lose their money on 43 of these fucking tickers, and then they'll on the on the 44th meme that they get into, they'll catch a win, but they think that like they're so back, but they're not. They're still down 90% on all the other shit that they went to.
Yeah.
My whole thing is like I wish like I am praying that the real OG memes, we go back to the real memes and forget about all this bullshit. And I know that's going to be very hard, but I hope the OGs in the space, we just go back to focusing on the real shit here so we can get away from these casino tickers, man. Seriously, it's not fun no more. Like you guys have, I don't understand how anybody's having fun. Like you're losing. 99% of you guys are losing, like every single time.
I I mean, The majority, right? The majority do. And that's where I think that we've got um we've got a narrative cycle, I think, that is going to play out, that is going to be very different than I think many are going to be expecting. And
I know
I
what
think,
you wanna say. I know what you wanna say so badly.
well, I mean, I
Say
think
it.
I'm
Say it
gonna
with
be
your
right.
chest, bro.
I think that TradFi is going to come in and eat everyone's lunch.
You talking about in the meme economy?
Yeah, I think that the focus from a lot of the people who are in memes is gonna start to shift. You're gonna have the hardcore that stay, but I think a lot of them are gonna be opportunists because they see the liquidity that the stock tokens and RWAs are going to offer up, and that's where they're gonna be trading. And it's not gonna be the same as in the meme economy where you can cabal it up and you can wash trade and you can snipe zero blocks and like all this other shit, right? I think that it's gonna be a very different environment for them, and they're gonna have a tough time with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. Um, man, I can just roll out all the memes that I have. Ah, you know what? I feel bad for because something has to happen. You know what's funny? People tag me. They're like, David, do something about this. Like, what the fuck you want me to do? You guys don't listen. They tag me. They're like, yo, Dave, can you seriously, Landy? I'm not even kidding. They're like, Dave,
David,
can you?
sell all your Bitcoin and provide liquidity to this chart, please.
No, they're not even saying that. They're like, hey, can you
Okay.
save the markets? Can you save the meme? No, I can't. You guys don't listen. Like, you know what the problem is with you guys in the meme economy? You guys do not listen, and you have tremendous egos. I just don't know for like on what, based on what, and like you act like you're famous and like, oh, I can't work with it. No problem. I hope you're enjoying this. I really hope you guys are enjoying your own little networks because it is obviously not working out for you guys. It really isn't. So there is no saving. Will some of these memes? I still stand on this. Will some of the real memes go up? I believe so when the markets go up. I believe so. Do I
I
kind of like disagree with you? No, because I do think RWAs are gonna be a big thing. Like there will be a lot of other opportunities, and people might say, you know what, fuck this, I'll throw my 20 grand here.
Here's my contention, and the reason why I say that is, there and you gotta be careful even in the stock token and RWA sector, right?
This
Because
will be
it's
another
all
meme
about
play.
transferability of the underlying asset, and you're gonna see a lot of players take advantage of, "Hey, we have a listing over here for this particular IPO and this and that." Yeah, and then the underlying asset isn't transferable and stuff like that, so it's gonna be a learning curve, I think, for a lot of people here,
Yeah,
and I think there's gonna be a lot of extraction done that way. Um, the in but the real ones that do have transferable underlying assets, when they tokenize that stock or RWA, if they're a dividend paying company, you get the dividends, right? So
yeah,
they have a really and then you got to think about the the market makers, asset under management players, and the brokers, and all of that have an incentivization to provide massive amounts of liquidity, right? So you're getting a bunch of liquidity to support the paired pricing between traditional markets and those stock tokens and RWAs. So it's going to be I think that what's going to happen is going to be very interesting. I think that memes will shine again in terms of their appreciation and value off the lows, meaning that they're going to go down, they're going to find their bottom, and they will pump. But I think that many are going to expect brand new significant all-time highs, and I don't think that a lot of them will have the ability to hit that. And I would love to be proven wrong, but I'm not seeing anything in the market, in the sentiment, and in the way that things are moving forward with the way that builders are building and what the focus is. I don't see I cannot at this point envision an environment where we get a bunch of meme coins that are OGs that are making significantly newer all-time highs. What I do think is that they will have an outperformance versus the rest of the crypto market for a period, and we will see a lot of new launches that do very well. And I think that that is going to be where we're going to get two different camps. We're going to get a lot of former meme token people who move over into the stock and RWAs and like, screaming about, why aren't you over here? Look at this. Why are you still playing in the kiddie pool? And then you're going to get the OGs that are going to be staying in the meme sector being like, you're missing out because I'm going to exponentially outperform you on this ticker, this ticker, this ticker, this ticker. And in some cases, I think they're going to both be right on both sides. It's just going to be about, I don't think you can just, fire a shot. You got to really do your due diligence in what you're accumulating when looking and where you're accumulating more specifically. I think it's a much higher risk environment in the memes. But I do think that with that higher risk comes the higher reward. Just I wouldn't be raising the expectations for like massive new all-time highs and these crazy valuations on meme tokens. But I would be open and happy to be proven wrong because maybe people just want to rebel against the whole
That,
traditional
but
TradFi thing
that's
coming in.
it. That's bottom line. It's the rebel stuff that I believe that's what the memes are. Is to point the middle finger. You said this one time, and I've always thought about this. It's just, it's not that they don't want to go into Bitcoin. I think people will go into Bitcoin. I think they'll go into really good assets within our space, but it's the one area where they can point the middle finger, or you can point the middle finger at the centralized world.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's the last. I believe it's the last. It's the last part to go. That's what I'll say. It's the last part to go. Because once the memes are gone, it's gone. I'm talking about within crypto. Memes will never die. Meme culture will never die. But I'm saying within
Yeah.
crypto, that I feel like it's the last thing to go here. It will be. It might be gone already. I don't want to be. I'm never negative. I'm positive. But I think there's one more leg, and that's it. Like I'll stand on that. Now, if that leg up heals the meme economy, then I still believe that it will thrive.
I think no
Depending
matter
on
what,
kind of push it is.
when you see meme coins actually coming off their lows, creating significant structure that is showing that it's going to turn around, I think that you're going to see everybody get stupidly bullish and happy, and it's going to be all good times. I think it's just going to be a matter of how long does that last, right? How long is that life cycle, right? Like
By the way,
it
not to interrupt you, but
uh,
you've probably seen this anyway. But Hyperliquid just made an all-time high.
yeah, it's been pushing. Yep.
We'll be
Yeah.
right back though to have obviously Landy and Rob Nelson, huge Kamala Harris supporter, is coming on next to go ahead and talk about everything that's happening in politics.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy to use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. I knew that was going to happen because Landy, of course, shuts off the goddamn thing when we go to commercial. Let's go ahead and see if we can bring in, where is he? Rob Nelson is with us here now. Man, now hold on. Let me get this out of the way. Okay, there we go. Now we're here.
Hell yeah. That's the way it should be.
That's right.
Oh, damn it.
There we go. All right. Obviously, the international sex symbol, me, David Gockstein here, the breakdown, joined by a Kamala Harris supporter that we found roaming the streets, and also Landy here to go ahead and debate on the issues out there in the Middle East. Hello, Rob. How's it going?
You know, I was going to wear my Kamala 2028 shirt, but I didn't want to upset you and your viewers, you know.
It's okay. My viewers will probably side with you and the whole DNC base.
Should I put the Kamala tattoo? I'm wondering, should I put it on my neck, my forearm, you know?
However you're feeling.
Like
It's
right
supposed
here,
to be on the
right
lower
here,
back.
Hitler had his Nazi tattoo.
No,
My
yeah,
God.
they kicked that guy out.
Well,
finally.
thank God we're not on TikTok right now.
Right?
All right. Boys and girls, we're closing in on an apparent signature where there will be a peace deal that happens. Trump today went ahead and announced that the brigade, or the blockage, excuse me, is now open. And I know maybe you're not happy about this, Rob, because you know we've talked about this on your show on Wednesday.
I'm not happy.
But let me go ahead and I want to show you something before we get started, because I think you're going to be happy about this. Give me 1 second to pull it up. Okay. You talked about this. And now, God damn it, I just had it here. Okay. Let me pull this up real quick.
I know you're pulling up his Truth Social.
No. I'm pulling up Polymarket. 1 second.
Oh, okay.
This is on Polymarket right now. Let me go ahead and pull this up.
We'll let the dogs out.
Here we go. Polymarket has it. 11% chance Trump agrees to unfreeze Iranian assets by the end of the month. Now, we were talking about this, and we both agreed that if this were to happen, it would be absolute bullshit. What are your thoughts? It's 11%. It's on Polymarket.
I actually, well, yeah, okay. So I agree, because that would be Sunday. You know, I'm not even sure they get this signed by Sunday. I do think they're going to sign a deal. I mean, both sides are saying the other side has to sign first. I don't think Trump's going to release assets right now. I read his Truth Social 3 times. You know, I always believe, especially with Trump, listen to what he says. Like, don't question when he says something, but also read, you know, between the lines enough to know how, you know, what he's also implying. He didn't say, we will never give Iran money. He said, no funds will be released no money will be exchanged at this time. There is zero part of me that thinks there should ever be any agreement, arrangement of any way, shape, form with Iran unless there is a literally completely different regime in place where we ever release one fucking dollar. The notion that even if they, quote, comply, we will discuss releasing 300 billion, 20 billion, a $300 billion investment fund like the New York Times is talking about. The notion that anything they do would justify releasing that, no, because the only thing they were supposed to do since we won the war, I mean, it's sort of like we had Hitler backed up to the wall, or you know, the Emperor of Japan, and we're like, if you'll agree to surrender and do a few things, then we will give you a Marshall Plan. We never said that. The Marshall Plan was a gift we gave after the fact. So my biggest concern is that they are going to make a deal in which Iran agrees to open the strait, which was something they never had before this war started. I want to point that out. They didn't have control of the strait. They exercised that option after the war started. In exchange, we will talk to them for 60 days about nuclear stuff, and they will, according to Trump's Truth Social, promise not to develop a nuclear weapon, and then let us take the uranium out. First of all, a promise from Iran, from this regime, is worth zero. It always has been. Secondly, they never had the strait to start with, so they're giving back something they never should have had. Thirdly, them saying they're going to let us take out the enriched uranium is, to me, one more stall tactic. I don't see how they actually let us go in there and do it. And if they do, I don't see them letting us destroy it. I just don't see it happening. You guys can tell me I'm wrong. And by the way, I just want to say this. You call me a Kamala Harris supporter. Let me tell you, the people who are going to line up behind this agreement are the Kamalas, the Obamas, the Bidens, because it's what they were trying to do. It's what they said. We trusted Iran to make a good deal. We trusted Iran to behave. We said if Iran lets the International Energy Commission, then we'll be okay. None of this works for me. No money, no negotiation. Do what we ask, or we bomb the shit out of you until you do. That's it. I'm a hardliner. Sorry. If that's Kamala Harris, dude, I think you got the wrong Kamala Harris.
Landy, what are your thoughts here?
This is going exactly as I said right at the very beginning. And for those that would like to go back and watch, right when this broke out, you had me on the show. We talked about the conflict, and I said, what you're seeing is that we're going to decimate their military infrastructure and their leadership infrastructure. And once that is out of the way, we're going to come to the table and run the Venezuela model. And what I was, you can see it. I'm reading here. I read his Truth Social. They must agree to never have nuclear bombs or a weapon. Agreed to allow the United States to, along with the IAEA and international bodies, to go in and recover and destroy the nuclear dust. And then, and so here's my take on it right now. One, I completely understand where Rob is coming from. But on the other side of that is CENTCOM is not leaving the area, right? Iran never actually closed the strait. That was the United States and the insurance companies, and the United States Navy, right? For where the United States Navy was positioned in the straits, didn't matter what Iran said or did. The United States Navy has basically a nautical mile range around them that you cannot pass anywhere. You're going to be seen as a hostile. And that automatically raises insurance premiums over there. So you effectively had the United States, just by striking and being in the area, shut down the strait. That's and a lot of that talk about the strait being open, Schrodinger's Strait is what I like to call it, is purely to play the market and to get leverage in negotiations for energy deals and stuff like that. What we're seeing now is something that I've discussed with you, David, and maybe not so much Rob, because we've just started having these discussions on Fridays recently, but that what we'll likely see is you give us what we want, United States, meaning we go in, we get the nuclear dust, we recover it. We either and we handle it, right? and then shut down your ability to be able to do that in that capacity. Um, and then you allow US based companies to come in and rebuild the infrastructure and bring you into the system again. And we are the ones that will maintain that and control that through our US based companies at the threat of the United States military absolutely wiping the floor with you again. And I think that all of this under the other side of this is if they so much as slip up, the United States military is going to attack them no matter what. So you either do what we say, or we will decapitate you over and over and over again. We will continue to destroy all of your military and command infrastructure, and then we'll move on to the actual infrastructure of the country.
Yeah.
And I've believed that from the very beginning. I posited that this was going to be the Venezuela model, and you're either going to comply or we will destroy you. And I think that that's all this is right now. I don't think that the US and the US administration, the Trump administration, is walking away with this without having the sword at the ready the entire time. And I've mentioned prior that I don't believe that even if we see oil prices come down, that that's going to substantially impact the midterms, because I just don't see that working its way through the economy in time to do so.
I think, listen, Landy, I mean, again, you make a really thoughtful, reasoned argument. And I'm not, unlike with David, where he seems like he gets like, he sort of just defends Trump at all costs. And if you don't agree, then he calls you a Kamala Harris fan. It's sort of like name calling rather than just hearing legitimate criticism. But I think the problem I have with what you're saying is two things. One, the thing with the strait, okay, sure, we ultimately control it because of our blockade, but Iran didn't even pretend, why then, if we ultimately control it, I'll give you three questions. Why then do they need to, why is the agreement they will open the Strait of Hormuz? If we control it, then the strait's open. We say it's open when we say it's open. They don't have to do anything. Of course they do. They're not literally we have a blockade around it, but they're not letting ships go through it. And they have to agree to do that. They weren't doing that before the war. Now they're doing it.
They've always attacked ships in the Strait. They've always done
No,
that.
they
This is
didn't
not
do what
new.
they did during the war. Come on, they didn't literally go in there and shut traffic down and say,
They didn't literally go in there and shut traffic down this time. It was fear that shut traffic down.
Okay, fine, whatever. They acted on it. Either way, that's a new piece in the puzzle. Otherwise, Trump wouldn't be asking for them to do it. That's my whole point.
If
it was always open
I
and they
reject
didn't
that.
really block it, there'd be no reason for him to make the only thing they're agreeing to right now is to open the strait and have negotiations for 60 days. Those are the two things in a true social. They'll agree to open the strait and we'll agree to talk for 60 days. If the straits really are always been open, it's just fear. You don't need to make that deal. Just be like, the strait is open.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Yes, you do. Because if you get them to agree to something, it's all about perception. Because if you get them to agree that they will do it, and you're saying like, hey, we're also going to be monitoring the situation and we're right there. So if you agree to do it, it doesn't have to be reality. It has to be the perception, because then insurance rates come down and traffic starts to flow again.
I get that. But the problem with the and I'm not saying you're wrong that they probably think this is the Venezuelan model. I've said this since we started these conversations. The Iranian regime is not Venezuela. When you removed Maduro, you brought in the number two who was willing to play differently. When you removed the first two tiers of this leadership, you did not bring in a new leadership willing to play different. I don't care how many times people sort of hint. The Revolutionary Guard is probably more cohesive. Their infrastructure's tight. There's a radicalization in fundamentalist regimes. Maduro wasn't a fundamentalist. He was a totalitarian. There's a total difference. And my only concern is when you talk about
Rob, you don't think they would have shut, like, you think if they, I want to pause here real quick. You're acting like they shut down the stray and they would never do such a thing if they weren't fully capable of developing a nuclear weapon. As soon as they would get nukes in their hands, they would have shut it down anyway.
I don't disagree with you.
No, but I'm saying this whole argument of, oh my God, look, it was open and now it's closed. Like,
no, That's not my
It-
argument.
it-
My argument
no,
isn't
but
that.
like that's a lot of people's argument.
But that's not
It
mine.
sounds that way
Mine is,
too.
mine is merely stating a fact. They exercised this option after this war. It wasn't exercised earlier. Would they have exercised it eventually? Sure. As soon as they felt they had the power to do it, they would have. This is my biggest concern. And Landy's point, when they say they won't have a nuclear weapon, that's what Obama said. That's what the Biden said. They said, look, Iran.
Why do they have minds?
No, Iran agreed not to.
No, but I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. Where did the mines come from? They just built them as soon as the United States went and did this operation. They just decided to build them out and throw them into the water.
You're missing
I'm saying that they were already setting themselves up to do this, regardless if there was an operation or not. They were going to close it down. They understand.
This is just getting stuck on. You just simply can't acknowledge that things happen.
No, you're not listening to what I'm saying. Like, I'm just saying there's the point that keeps being brought up is that the Strait is closed due to the fact that the U.S. and Israel went ahead and launched this operation against Iran, right? So they closed it
for whatever
but
reason.
they were going to close it regardless. At some point, it would have been closed.
And okay, let me flip your argument on you. They're going
and when they close it, hold on, let me land it, and you can say whatever you want. But when they close it, if the U.S. and Israel never went ahead and did this operation or war, whatever you want to call it, at some point, as soon as they gain nuclear capability, it would have been closed, and there would have been jack shit anybody could have done. Iran at that point.
Okay, and Landy, I want you to jump in after this. But here, David, here's what I'm trying to say. I don't disagree with you. You seem to think I'm disagreeing. I get that they would have done it.
But then you can't bring it up if you don't disagree.
I can bring it up to simply say it happened now. So to say it's a negotiation that they're taking off the table is all I'm saying. It's not a concession. If they don't really have control, it's not a concession for them to lift it. Now, Landy's point, but it's a perception. I'll accept that. My real point is Iran never does what they say they're going to do under this regime. They said they weren't going to develop a nuclear weapon or cruise missiles that could reach beyond their region, the Gulf region, to the Obama administration, to the Biden administration. What do we know they were doing? Developing a nuclear weapon, building cruise missiles that could go 2,000 plus miles. They don't do what they say. Their parliamentary leader, their parliament head negotiator guy came out today and said, we don't trust words, only actions. Well, I want to say we should be the same. Iran agreeing not to develop a nuclear weapon is like asking my rest in peace chocolate lab not to eat the kibble when you leave the room. Like,
well, let me jump in here because we're going in circles. I understand where you're coming from, but you're automatically positing that the prior situations are like this situation, and they're not. They're completely different. We have already struck them. We have threatened that if anything goes not to Trump's liking, that we will strike them again. We are fully ready in terms of capability within the areas. This never happened under Obama, and it never happened under Biden. That it's a very different situation. They weren't at they didn't have the sword to their neck at this point, right? They do now. And one of the big things that you bring up, and I want to address this, is the fundamental radicalism and the difference there. At the end of the day, the IRGC was given carte blanche to live lives outside of Iran in places like London and places like Qatar and throughout the Gulf states. They were allowed to park money outside of those and potentially even have now an Ayatollah that doesn't even adhere to the religion and the practices of that fundamentalism. So I believe that there is an undercurrent here of a lot of the fundamental radicalism is more saber rattling than not. And then they rely on we've always broken our promises and we've always done these things because we're fundamental radicals, but they don't even live their lives like that. None of them do.
Neither did
they live their lives. Well, hold on. They live their lives as opportunists and control freaks. Right. Yeah. And I think that what Trump is doing is testing that. Like, let's test that because the sword is at your neck now. It's at your throat, and we can take you out. We have the capabilities. So let's see how serious we can actually get. Because if you're going to agree to these things, the sword is not leaving your neck. It is
Right.
staying there. So I do think that they're fundamental. I don't disagree with what you are saying, but what I'm saying is I think it's a fundamentally different situation right now. And I
Yeah.
think that a lot of it is predicated on this is just a rerun because that's the perception, even though we have seen very big changes in the
Yeah.
way that things are
I
run.
agree. I don't think it's a rerun. I want to be clear. I do not think we're doing exactly what Biden or Obama did. I am simply pointing out that both times those deals were predicated on Iran promising to do something. And to me, this deal is being predicated on Iran promising to do something. I'm like, how about we make a deal when they do it? How about we agree to stop when you give us the uranium? Until you
Isn't
give us
that
the
it?
uranium, hold on. Until you give us the uranium, you guys convinced me of something really powerful over the last couple of weeks, that the strategy the Trump administration might really have been playing here, I think it was you, Landy, who said it first, but David agreed with it, was bombing them further might not be as effective as strangling them economically. And it
Yeah.
seems like this blockade was starting. They no longer, they're running out of storage space for their oil. They can't get out, they can't get it out. Then they'll have to shut down production. Shutting those wells down will be hard to restart. Like, we were suffocating their economy. Why not keep suffocating their economy until they give us what we want? With the added threat that we can also bomb you more. But we're not lifting a single restriction on your ability to sell oil until we have that uranium in our hands. We don't care what you promise. 60 days of talks. We're not giving you 1 ounce of breathing room. We are not lifting a single thing. You're not bringing in $1 extra that we can stop until we get what we want. That's what I don't understand, you guys. That's my simple argument. Strangle
Can I
them
ask you this?
economically until they can't breathe, and then they either die
I
or they actually do what we want.
I agree. I think we would all agree, right? And here's what I want to ask then, because what I am reading and what I am seeing is what you are saying. I
No,
think
Trump
that
has said that they will let them start selling oil if they open the straits. We won't
that
release
oil would
sanctions.
be
We won't trade
unsan-
money, but we'll let them ship.
unsanctioned oil, which means that it's got to be traded in what?
Dollars, I don't care how it's traded. They
Well,
make money. It's
here's the
taking
thing.
they're
Okay,
like this
okay.
right now. We're taking the
I,
hand
I
off.
want you to I get it, but I want you to understand where I'm coming from with that. Trump has to give a little on this side to show that, hey, this is a preview of what you can do with us. We're not gonna we'll lift sanctions, which means we're bringing you back into the system. If these negotiations go well, great. If they don't, sanctions are back on. I mean, Scott Bessent the other day was very clear about this. Sanctions are back on, and we'll strike you. I think that
Andy, I don't get it. I don't get it. This is what I'm concerned with. This is a game they played forever. You give
it's
us some
not
relief.
though.
No, I know it's different than with Obama, but that's a version. It's a very different thing, but it's a version of what they said.
So do
We
you
will
think?
lift sanctions as you promise and show us that you're not
Well,
developing a nuclear weapon. My point is, you don't lift sanctions until we've literally gotten exactly what we want. Not like you're moving toward it,
but
not like you're acting in good faith, because they'll act in good faith just long enough to utilize that.
I
And even when you
agree.
said to like do something else, like I don't get it. Like there's
I
no
agree,
relief,
Rob.
period,
Hold
till
on,
we
hold
get
on,
what
hold
we
on.
want.
I agree because I really want to nail this point down with you, because it, I understand what you're saying, but what I think you're missing is that the sword is still there. Like it's like you do what we say under the threat of being wiped off the face of the planet. I mean, that is so if they provide sanctions relief as the olive branch, when you mentioned they are being squeezed, they're being choked out. So you provide a little bit of relief because if the opportunity on the other side really does result in what the Trump administration wants, getting the nuclear dust, disabling and making sure that we are continuing to monitor and are allowed to inspect after removing and destroying that nuclear dust. and then monitoring and adhering to the agreement for what I'm saying is there was never a sword to their throat before,
I don't
and
get
there
it, Randy. I
but
need
what
help.
don't you get?
I
If
don't get
you are somebody
I get the whole argument is if we give them a little evidence that like breathing room, then we can get what we want. How about like it's like, Ronda Rousey, right? Like and Gina Carano, Gina tapped out in 10 seconds because she was going to get her arm broken over her head if she didn't tap out. Ronda didn't let up on the arm and go, now if you whatever, then it's like if they're strangling, you're saying if we give them some room, then we can get what we want. How about we just
No, no, no.
strangle them till they
We
can't breathe and one or two
They
things happen.
have been strangled to the point, Rob,
And we go in and take it anyway because the
to the
regime's gone. Or two, they can't breathe and they actually go, we'll do it, we'll do it, we'll do it. You don't have to do anything, we'll do it. I don't get giving them one single thing till we get what we want. No temporary relief to show them what could happen. No, like what could happen is you die if you don't give us this right now. That I'm sorry.
Where first off, I don't believe that it was like sanctions are lifted as soon as this deal is signed. That's not what I've read.
No, they said they're going to let them start selling oil. They're going to allow oil sales, which allows
Who
them
said
to
it? Who said that? Who said that?
Scott
I
Bessent.
haven't seen that.
Secretary Bessent. They've said
I haven't seen that anywhere.
They've implied and said that they would allow limited sanctioned oil to be.
Is it? It was implied.
Well,
so
no, they said that's going to be one of the deal points. The Iran gets to.
I haven't read that anyway. They would be reporting this on CNN, MSNBC, everything.
Oh Jesus! I have to come like literally with screenshots for you guys.
You should come with screenshots if you're going to say something like that. Especially like I do not think.
Well, you're not going to like it because the New York Times reported it, but you don't care if the New York Times.
Yes, New York Times. Like who?
Well, no,
really?
other places
really? These are your sources, New York Times.
You know what?
Hit me with the Washington Post next.
How about this? Instead of calling me wrong, when this deal is done, if one of the conditions is they open the strait, which Landy's saying they don't really open anyway, but we lift the blockade and we allow them to sell certain amounts of their sanctioned oil. It's not literally
American dollars.
It's a somewhat of a lifting of a sanction, but it's just for them to sell oil.
In American dollars.
60 days of talks. If that's one of the conditions, will you agree that was something they agreed to, and that literally allows them to get oil out of their overwhelming storage facilities that are going to literally force them into shutdown? Like we were literally choking them to death. Letting them sell oil right now for 60 days is literally giving them room to like regroup, get back against the wall of the cage, and like regroup for another round. I don't like it. I don't like any lifting of anything till we get the uranium.
Let me ask you a question. What would you do as president right now?
I'd keep the sanctions on them. I'd keep the strangulation on them. I'd keep the threat of strikes. I'd probably go, tell you what, we're suffocating you right now. You're blocking the strait. That's fine. You think you are. We're blockading you. You can only last a couple more months. You're going to run out of capacity for your storage. We're going to keep strangling you. By the way, you know what we're going to do while we strangle you? Every week, we're going to systematically take out one more piece of your infrastructure. As a little warning, you want us to hit Carg Island first? We will literally start destroying your ability. It will set you back decades. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you come to the table. The table is you show up with our people coming on and starting to excavate that uranium, and that's when we stop. We don't do anything till that.
So then you want them to stay in power, the current regime?
They can't stay in power if you suffocate. They won't be able to. They're already saying like people aren't showing up for work. They're not going to get their guards, their police force. Ultimately, if they have no money, if they can't produce any revenue, they can't stay in power. And at that point, the people of Iran could actually have a people's revolution. They could actually overthrow the government. That's what I thought they were trying to do: suffocate this regime. After bombarding,
they are still,
but they are,
but they're not. Still. If they lift their ability to start selling oil,
yes, they are. Look, they still just selling oil is not going to solve the problem. What that does is that
you know it is. You know it is. They can't store any oil. They can't store it once.
I know. I'm very familiar. I talked about the shut-in wells and the fact that they already started to shut in a couple.
Force them farther to where they're literally like.
Well, okay. On the other side of this, let's also take in the counter argument. The longer that you strangle their economy, The longer that you destroy the long-term potential future for the Iranian population,
Yes.
the harder it is to for them to ever recover. And now you have
Yes.
a human disaster that is even larger than it currently is. And I think that one of
Or
the
you want to take
keys.
a vote with the Iranian people and see how many had picked that option over this one? Because this option,
I know
this
they're ready.
option, you leave a
I know.
horrible totalitarian regime in place that will be even
And
more fucking dictatorial than the one that they
and
left.
and what I was going to say is we already know because there have now been multiple confirmations of the Artesh going at it with the IRGC, which is the Iranian military's the
Right.
Artesh, already getting into skirmishes in key areas with the IRGC. And realistically, I think what you're missing that I'm trying to tell you is that I don't think this is gonna end. The deal, any deal that even if it's struck, even if the United States goes in and grabs the dust, because I don't think there's gonna be a deal struck unless we grab nuclear material, and we are allowed to do so. And IEA, the international community is allowed to be there as well. I also don't think that um, I don't think we would ever do any investment. They're not going to give them any money. We're not going to give them any money. That's not going to happen. It's just purely not going to happen. Trump has made this point multiple times. The investment piece that's being floated out there is a carrot on a stick. But I
Mhm.
also believe that this Iran situation is not going anywhere anytime soon, meaning that they could get the nuclear dust and meet that checkpoint at or before the 60 days and then declare victory on all sides. But I don't think that we leave. I don't think that the military stops operating there. And in fact, I think that it kicks up again later on. I think that this is an optics play. I think that it's purely going to be knife to the throat, sword to the neck kind of thing the entire time. And that is never going to stop while President Trump is in power. I don't think it's going to go away. I think that the reality is that we've stood up the DFC. We've got Besant that wants that oil back in the system for relief around the world that would provide for quicker relief. We want to bring the temperature down so that the insurance rates come down and then we can capture a bunch of the insurance market, have the straight back quote unquote open, even though we're effectively the ones that closed it and we're using Iran as the blame. It's the blame game. We get to blame them, right? And then as we bring that oil back to market, we can then start floating out that we can, oh, well, we can work with them to rebuild. American companies are going to go back into Iran. This now plummets the oil markets, gets energy markets under control. You start getting more negotiating power with the because now the Americans are involved in negotiations with Iran, you get more negotiating power with Putin and more negotiating power with Z, and they all get what they want between the United States being Trump, Putin, and Z. And you're going to see then all eyes turn to Europe. And I really do think that that is what the play is here. And I think it's been the entire play. And I think that at any moment, Trump, at the drop of a hat, could tell the military, you know what? I don't feel good about this. I feel like they violated this and just start annihilating them again. It's really where I'm at with it because I don't think this situation is going to go away. In fact, I think this is a multi-year situation. It's just not a multi-year situation where we see U.S.
Yeah,
troops
listen,
in Iran.
Andy, I'm not saying you. I want to be clear. I don't think
60
you.
seconds for both of you guys.
I don't think either one of you is wrong about your planning, how they strategically plan this. And I want to be clear. David sometimes said, do I think they didn't think about it? I think they thought about everything. And it wouldn't surprise me, Landy, if they're doing exactly what you said. My concern is I think Iran knows that we want to get that oil back in the system. They know we want commerce flowing. They know that's good for the world economy, and they don't care. I also think they know the longer they can stall, 60 days to talk, but not actually agree to anything, agree to it, and then not do it, buy more time, buys them the go. I think you're right. This goes on for several years. What Iran's doing is going, and in 2 years, Donald Trump isn't president, and the next president won't have the guts to do what he does. So we will have outlasted him, and then we can do whatever the fuck we want, which is go back to business, and we'll never honor these agreements. We will never bow down to the U.S., to the West, to anything. We don't care. That's my concern.
I think
I'm
you
worried
make
it
a
is
very
long
good point
60
about Trump
seconds
not
for you,
being in
Landy.
office. I think you make a very, very good point about Trump not being in office, which is one of the reasons why I think no matter what, at the end of this, that this particular situation is going to continue while he's in office, and he has control of this situation because he can turn it to his advantage. One of the things that I wanted to bring up to both you guys, Trump's Truth Social, he said there will be no deal with Iran except unconditional surrender. One of the key points that many are talking about right now is he says after that, and the selection of a great and acceptable leader or leaders. I find that very interesting because it runs counter to keeping the IRGC in any kind of power position, because he's literally saying after that, the selection of great and acceptable leaders. I'm wondering what he's got up his sleeve or what
That's a
he's
good point.
referencing.
That's a good point too. That's actually a good point. We both made great points, David. I know you like it to end with us like guns drawn, but we just had our little peace treaty here.
No, I am liking the fact that a Kamala Harris supporter is finally understanding what is happening in the Middle East. And
Landy, can I sue
I can
him for like
appreciate-
slander? Can you think I could sue him for slander?
Bro, I can't even get accounts taken off X that are LARPing as me and messaging people in their DMs for private chats and groups and stuff like that. And I don't think anything's viable anymore. You know what's really broken and we need to fix? The bullshit here in the United States. Let's turn it right back to the United States and let's talk about elections next week. Let's talk about the freaking polling numbers, because Senate numbers just came out today. Shows that Republicans have the better baseline going in and have potential to win out of the most recent polling numbers, not only the Senate, but the House. Wow. What a freaking, that's wild. By the way, I'm actually shocked by
David hates polls. David hates polls, at least hates polls when they say the things he doesn't like, which seems to be like most politicians. And David's
seems like you love polls.
But I will say this, Landy, I'm not sure about the House. I have started to think, looking at, the Senate's always been a trickier path for the Democrats, just the way it works and what states are up. I do think, and that would make a huge difference, even if the Republicans lose the House, if they hold the Senate, I mean, that matters significantly. Like that becomes the last bulwark of, not having the crazies run the asylum.
Just block every single policy that comes to the floor.
Guys, it has been great to have you on the show. Okay, it's been phenomenal to have you on the show.
David was here too. Hi, David.
Yeah, I thought I was here also. I was just watching. I was watching. I was actually here, like behind the scenes, watching, making sure that Rob's blood pressure didn't go through the roof. But
I'm good. I'm good. I like this. I'm like Trump. Bring it on. The more conflict, the more excited I get.
Now you're like Trump. Now you like Trump. I see how you when you see a start winning, you start moving.
I will bet that I was a Trump fan before either of you.
Okay.
Because
you were born. You were probably born before us.
I was very skeptical.
You left yourself open for that shit.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I was. Landy was skeptical. When did you become a Trump supporter, David? Be honest. When did you think he should
when
probably?
I was very young. When I was very young, I was.
When in his arc of his political career?
Right away.
When?
What do you mean when?
When he came down the elevator after the first debates.
I thought I liked the fact that he was on the debate stage, just talking like a New Yorker. So like I can appreciate it because I am a New Yorker, and the way he was smacking everybody around, I found it like. I was like, this is needed. I didn't think he was going to win, but I was like, this is so needed.
Right.
And I think that if you had Trump in office, this was my thinking. If you had Trump in office, I think he could get shit done.
Okay.
I was thinking it's time to bring in a business person.
You were early.
Okay.
You were early. Okay. when he got mocked at that award ceremony, when Seth Meyers made that comment, please run, please run. I remember thinking then he's going to run. He's going to run for president. And you know what? He's just at this point, it's a little ahead of the curve on when he went down the escalator. But I'm like, it's the time where someone like a Trump could win. He came down that escalator that night. I was teaching an on-camera class in LA for hosts. And I said to my class, people were talking about it, people were mocking it. I was like, he's going to win the Republican nomination. It's a done deal. If Polymarket had existed then, I would have bet on it. And secondly, he's going to win the presidency unless the DNC rigs the election enough to where Hillary Clinton, who will win their side, can outlast him. And I called it the minute he came down the escalator. I never doubted. And I was like, and the reason is because this is what the country needs. Left, right, center. We need a disruptor. I was a Trump supporter before Kamala Harris thought about running for fucking president.
But I think he also won because it's kind of like Obama started the whole social media thing. That's why Obama got into office. And, Trump was always all over social media.
He mastered
and
Twitter.
He took it to the next level. That's really it. And
he mastered Twitter.
I think people don't appreciate him. A lot of people don't like him. I have friends that don't like him. We obviously see what happens when you support Trump with Jackson Dart. Just introducing Trump, you're automatically prone to being canceled by, mainstream media and along with your teammates and friends. So, but I think when you look 1 or 2 decades down the road, people will appreciate what Trump has done. I think it'll be one of those things. You'll appreciate that we had somebody who, I guess, changed the course of American history for me personally, and that is to get away from the woke shit that was, being pushed out here, teaching kids about gender identification when they're fucking 4 or 5, when they should be learning about how to color in a goddamn book or, just 1 + 1 = 2 kind of thing. Common sense was brought back by Trump. I just feel that we will look back a decade or two and say, you know what, if it wasn't for Trump, we would have been, I don't know where the fuck we would have actually been if Trump didn't win the fucking election. So
I
appreciate you guys coming on. Go ahead, 10 seconds, Landy.
I was a skeptic coming into the 2016 election, but there was no way I was going to vote for Hillary Clinton, and under any circumstances. So it was after he won, and it was starting in the vitriol running up to election day. Just the absolute mobilization of the media and the entire institutional apparatus. For David, I'm pretty heavily involved directly in the political sphere. Watching this happen and talking with Democrat colleagues, even they were like, holy crap, this is a sea change. This is going to change politics forever and the way that we're mobilizing against him. And it's because he was a threat to the established powers that be in Washington, D.C. And as that narrative started to really, really get rolling post-election, I was like, you know what? I'm on board with him because what they're doing is very, very clear. And the reasons why they're doing it is very, very clear. And now, there's a lot of people that claim that he's now part of that Washington, D.C. insider establishment, and he's exploited the whole thing to his own benefit, yada, yada, yada. I don't buy that. I don't buy that because the policies don't line up with that. Some of the actions that he's taken and some of the things that he's done, I've vehemently disagreed with. And it's fair to be critical of him in all of those circumstances. But one of the things that he did prove out is how the uniparty in Washington worked together. And he broke that system up. And the breaking apart of that uniparty system where they all scratch each other's backs, Republican and Democrat, then became very, very eye-opening, I think, for the public, no matter which side of the aisle you're on. And now it's about dealing with the aftermath of that, because I think he's fundamentally changed the course of political discourse in our country for a very long time.
I agree.
Well, just to let you guys know, we are the top stream on Getter. And
Nice.
that goes along like the Charlie Kirk show and all that. So that's
Shout
pretty
out to
cool.
Getter.
You know, I should show that off. Should I? I should show that off.
Yeah, you should
I
show
am
that.
going to show it off right now, man.
Show it off.
Come on,
Come
man.
on.
That's pretty cool.
Show Getter some love.
Yeah.
There you go. We are right there, and when you go ahead and take this off, top live stream.
Top
Right
live
there.
stream on Getter. I take a picture. There we go.
There you go. Take that picture, man. Take that
Love it.
picture, boys. That's cool. That's really cool. Shout out to Getter, man. Obviously, Getter is more of a political platform than it is anything that has to do. Well, they do report. They do have a tab for crypto and the markets, but it's more of a political platform. So that's pretty cool. But I want to give a shout out, obviously, and they allow you to say things. They allow you to say certain words on like TikTok. So shout out to Getter. Shout out to Kick. Do more streams on Kick with the Kick program. But I want to give a shout out to Rob Nelson. I can't believe he's turning. I think he's singing a different tune. It's nice to see. Rob has a show on Mondays and Wednesdays. I think he's mesmerized by this microphone too. Landy, you can catch him Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday. It happens to be Friday today at 9. Excuse me. Is it 8 or 9? 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as he breaks down the markets going into the weekend. We know what time it is. Weekend, low liquidity. Go outside. Well, for those, the 1% that watch this show that actually go outside, touch some grass, and I don't know, wash your ass.
I can't.
Hey, Andy, can I just point out before we go? I didn't mention that microphone the entire show. Did I? Did I say anything about the microphone? He brought the microphone. He's always like, "You're obsessed with this thing." I didn't say anything. He had to bring it up at the end of the show.
I see the way that you're looking at my microphone, and it's not like to go ahead and give me a compliment. It's like, hey, how can I use it?
I'm just a little puppet PFP stuck in between two dads arguing. It's my
By the way,
two-dad household.
you can see. First of all, stop it. Second, you guys can see Rob. Rob will be out this weekend in Washington, D.C. They are apparently him and like 17 people are protesting something about Trump. So you can you want an autograph, catch one in D.C. I think they're protesting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there you go. Let's go. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys. See you next week.
See ya.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
That's the boys. The boys, man. Good conversation. I'm surprised at Rob. Now he agrees. You know, I think what Rob is, he's a front runner. He's like that guy who, like, if that sports team is winning, he jumps on the wagon. That's who he is. Okay. Today's a Dallas Cowboys fan. Tomorrow is a New York Football Giants fan. I see you, Rob, in the green room. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm just busting Rob's balls. Oh my God, I said that and he might get excited. I'm just messing around with Rob. Tune into his show Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where he breaks down his views on everything that's happening in geopolitics and trending news. And Landy, you know Landy. He comes onto my show, doesn't let me fucking speak. 2 hours of the show, I get to speak 18 minutes. 18 minutes. It's crazy. And the craziest part is right now, I got Rob in the green room writing under my name. He is dead set on coming on to this platform with my name. Listen, I would be too. I would want to be me too. Anyway, we'll be right back after this commercial break with the quote of the day, and then I'm out. I'm going to get that haircut, going to get a tan my ass, tan my balls, all that good stuff.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was a promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promised to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome back to the program. At this point, I'm about to take off all my clothes. I couldn't wear the jacket anymore. I was like, I can't wear it. All right. It's hot. It's hot. It's getting hot. It's getting hot. Okay. Conversations are getting hot. All right. Let's go with the quote of the day. That's right. And I want to thank everybody who's tuned in the entire week. I want to thank everybody who continues to tune into the program in general. The support that I get, I appreciate you guys. And that's a hell of a thing, Getter. Shout out to Getter, man. I appreciate you guys also. I would appreciate it if I could get my handle, but I'm still verified on there. I appreciate that. We're working on Truth Social. Truth is coming out with their own thing. I'm happy about that. All right. Quote of the day. Man, there's so many good quotes that I have. Like, I don't know which one to go with. All right, let me go with this one. I'll go with this. Let's keep it short for today. A peaceful man must still know violence, or his peace belongs to whoever threatens it. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. A peaceful man must still know violence, or his peace belongs to whoever threatens it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go out and have some fun. It's the weekend. I would encourage you to do the same thing. Stop trading 1 second charts. Go out there, have some fun. If you got sun shining, go out there and get some sun, get some vitamin D. Not that D. Don't think nasty. Just go out, get some vitamin D. Maybe get a haircut. Okay? Maybe wipe your ass, take a shower, use deodorant, soap, lotion. I'm just saying. Again, I thank you very much. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you next week, which will be in June. I'll see you in June, all right? I will see you guys in June. Let's fucking go. Have a tremendous weekend. I'm out.